should we say that way, is having the right mindset. Everyone repeat after me. Right mindset.
Right mindset.
And the right mindset is the way for success. So that's why in order for you to have the success, you gotta have the right mindset. I'm a pastor, so I read Bible. As I read the Bible in the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 23, it says, "Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life." Where does the life actually begin? Actually, it starts from by keeping the heart. That's why even the Bible is talking about keeping the heart. Not only that, when you look at also the successful people of this world, there is a Bill Gates. Bill Gates, he said, it is fine to celebrate success, but it is more important to heed the lessons of failure. Ever raise your hand if you consider failure as a very important source? Failure is a very important source. You consider failure very important?
Yeah.
So what have you learned from the failure? You understand what I'm talking about, right? Many people, instead of having the failure, trying to learn from the failure, many people try to run away from the failure. Still, yes, but now, Bill Gates is one of the richest person in the whole world. And then in the year 2016, he was chosen as the richest person in the world. And then he is the person who considers the mindset of considering learning from the failure as a very important thing. Now, he lived the life of learning from his mistakes and failure, and then he says like this. He says, "I failed in some subjects in exam, but my friend passed it all. Now he's an engineer in Microsoft, and I am the owner of Microsoft." Ever do you see the difference? Just because you pass all the exams in your university, it does not mean that it is going to take you to the successful life. I mean, being an engineer in Microsoft, that is also a successful life. However, now those people who are diligent cannot catch up with those people who has outstanding mindset. You understand what I mean, right? Yeah. That's why it is very important for you to have the right mindset. Let me explain to you about this vehicle. Everyone, do you know which vehicle make is? This vehicle make. Raise your hand if you know this vehicle make. Yes?
That's Hyundai.
Huh?
Hyundai.
Hyundai. Yes, this vehicle's name is called Hyundai or Hyundai. Hyundai is a proper pronunciation. In Korea, we read it Hyundai. Hyundai means this generation. That's what it means, okay? And according to the English spelling, some people, they read it Hyundai, right? Anyways, there is this vehicle. But then, there is the founder of this vehicle. Do you know the name of this founder? I'll buy you dinner today. I'll buy you dinner. Dinner. I'll buy you dinner at Java. If there is one in Karatina, right? Yes. Anyone? I'll buy you KFC. If you get this right. If there is one in Karatina, Singapore. Yes. Anyone? What is the name of the founder of a Hyundai automobile producing company? No one? Okay. His name is, someone is Googling right now. His name is Mr. Jung Ju-young. You understand? It's this man over here. Actually, in terms of education, he finished only up to class 4. You are right now about to finish university, right? Yes, he only finished up to class 4. But then right now in South Korea, he is called the father of economy of South Korea. He's the father of economy of South Korea. And then he says, people can break through any obstacles with great willpower once we make up our mind. So when you look at the similarity of the successful people of the world, right? What are they talking about right now? The mindset. Yes, it is very important to get the knowledge and also do the studies. Yes, it is very important. However, at the same time, you gotta have the balanced nutrition of your education. Yes, academic education is also very important. But having the strong and the right mindset is also very important. Those people who are only having the academic studies compared to those people who are academic plus and the training on the mindset, these people can never catch up with these people with a different mindset and the right mindset. He also says, there are trials, but there are no failures. Whenever you see the problems and the difficulties in life, many times so you think that that is a failure at the end of your life, right? But for him, his mindset, the way he sees, the way he thinks, the way he believes is different. That's why he doesn't see it as a failure. He just sees it as a trial which you can overcome. He also says, learn from the bad bugs. Aaron, what can you possibly learn from the bad bugs? Is there anyone who can say something about the bad bugs? Can you learn something from the bad bugs? Yeah. Are you all here to learn from the bad bug, or are you all here to learn from the professors? From the professors, right? But this man called Mr. Jung Ju Young, he says, learn from the bad bugs. Let me tell you the story. Why he said, learn from the bad bugs. Because when he was in early 20s, he only finished up to class 4, right? And then when he was in early 20s, his life was very difficult. Not only that, not only his life, actually the whole country of South Korea was in difficulties. South Korea, at that time, when he was in early 20s, South Korea was the poorest country in the whole world. South Korea was the poorest country in the whole world. Now, at that time, he was born in South Korea. He was raised in South Korea. And when he became like your age, right? Early 20s, right? Now, he finally got a job at the port, loading the ship and offloading the ship. This is just a casual labor work. Is that right? Because he didn't even finish primary school, he didn't even finish secondary school, so he couldn't get a good job. But he finally got a job of that labor work of loading the ship and offloading the ship. That is casual labor work, and you got to wake up around at 4 a.m. to do the job. So from the company, they have given him a room to stay in the dormitory, so he was sleeping in the room. But he couldn't sleep in the dormitory because in Korea, China, Japan, they have a culture of sleeping on the floor. You understand, right? So he was sleeping on the floor, but he couldn't sleep anymore because of the bad bugs. So he began to think, how can I sleep without the bad bug? He was thinking and thinking and thinking, and he finally came up with an idea. Do you know what he did? Because he didn't want to get bit by the bed bugs, he got a desk like this. Big desk like this, right? And then how many legs do they have? 4 legs, right? Under each leg, now they have put the steel basins. And then he filled all basins with water. And now the desk is inside what? Inside the water. Now the bedbug tried to come and climb the bed. Do you think bedbug can climb the bed? No. Why? Because there is a swimming pool. To the bedbugs, it's like a river, right? So there's a big river so that the bedbug cannot climb the desk to bite on Mr. Jung Ju Young. So on the first day, he put the basins, filled the water, and then put the blankets on top of the desk, right? And then on the first day that he was sleeping on the desk, do you think he was bitten by the bedbugs? No, he did not get bit by the bedbugs. That time he was so happy, and then he screamed, and then he said, yes, when you always search for the way, there is always the way. He was so happy. He was, yes, you gotta think. When you think, there is always a way. But then, 5 days passed by, 7 days passed by, and about 10 days passed by, he started to get bit by the bedbugs again. He was so surprised, and then he was thinking, where are these bedbugs coming from? Is there anyone who knows how these bedbugs came from? How about you, Java? Java for dinner. No one? No one wants to challenge? These bed bugs, they climb the wall, they climb the ceiling, and drop on his bed. When he saw that, he was so surprised. What? These bed bugs, they climb the wall, climb the ceiling, and drop on my bed? He realized one thing. He realized, these are bed bugs. When there is no way, they always challenge themselves until they find a way. Everybody, you also have challenges in life, right? How many times do you collide with the challenges and challenge yourself? Maybe one time, maybe 2 times, maybe 3 times. And then if it doesn't work, what do? You turn around and say, hey, this is not my thing. And you give up, right? But then, for Mr. Jung Ju-young, he discovered that even the bed bugs, they know how to challenge themselves until they find a way. From then on, Mr. Jung Ju-young, he only has the education of class 4. He began to challenge and do the things which he has never challenged before. And then, guess what happened? He became the CEO of Hyundai Automobile Producing Company, which is the world's 5th largest automobile producing company in the whole world. I visited their factory. Do you know how many seconds one brand new car comes out? It takes only 42 seconds for one whole brand new car to come out from the factory. Every 42 seconds, one brand new car comes out. Can you even imagine? Now, Hyundai Automobile Producing Company became world's 5th largest automobile producing company in the whole world. Not only that, he is the person who doesn't know impossible. You understand, right? He is the one who doesn't know impossible. He believes that according to the bed bug mentality, he believes that if you search for the way, if you find the way, then there is always the way. So now, Mr. Jung Ju-young, in Hyundai company, there is not only the automobile producing company, there is also like a construction company. You know, like Chinese company in Nairobi, right? They're doing a lot of road, right? Such as Ui company, right? Shin Hydro company, there are those companies. Also, Hyundai Construction Company is an international construction company. And then, long time ago, now from Saudi Arabia. Have you ever heard of a country called Saudi Arabia? Saudi Arabia is a complete desert country. Not rocky kind of a desert country. You go there, you only find sand. You understand, right? In such kind of a country, in Saudi Arabia king came to South Korea president and asked the Korean president to come and build the capital city, the buildings on top of the desert. He said, if you build the city on top of the desert, then we'll pay you a lot of money. Already, USA already have a back off. Canada back off. Many other rich countries, they have already given up on this project because they all thought that it is impossible to build the city on top of the desert. You understand what I mean, right? Is it possible to build a city on the sand? No. So everybody has given up. But then the president of South Korea, he really wanted to build this city in Saudi Arabia because he wanted to receive a lot of money so that he can make the country also become rich. You understand, right? Saudi Arabia is a rich country because they have petroleum. You understand, right? So now, the president wanted to challenge. He has sent 3 cabinet secretaries to go and observe whether we can build a city or not. 3 cabinet secretaries that they have went. And then they came back with a report saying, Mr. President, in Saudi Arabia, to build a city is completely impossible. So the president, he was so disturbed. We must take this project to build a city so that we can make money. Later on, he remembered Mr. Jung Ju-young. And then he called him. Mr. Jung Ju-young, I know that you are famous for impossibles. Why don't you go and build the city in Saudi Arabia? Go first and check whether this is possible or not. If you come back and also say that it's impossible, then I will give up. So Mr. Jung Ji-young went to Saudi Arabia and came back. When the cabinet secretaries went and came back, they said it is impossible to build a city in Saudi Arabia because of three things. Three things. Number one, it's impossible because it's a desert. There is no water to do the construction. When you do the construction, one of the most important things is the water still. And then it is impossible. Water will not work. Number two, it is impossible because it is desert. It is very hot, right? So it is so hot, it goes beyond 40 degrees Celsius. So if you work under the condition, then you can even die. So they said it's impossible. Number three reason why it's impossible is because Saudi Arabia is a Muslim country, right? And it's very religious, right? So there is no one who sells liquor. And there are no women. I don't know whether you understand this language or not. So anyways, there is something like that, right? Yes. So now, the cabinet secretaries, they came back and they said it's impossible because of those three reasons. Mr. Jung Ji-young went to Saudi Arabia and then came back. Do you think he also said that this is impossible or possible?
Possible.
Impossible or possible?
Possible.
Okay, when I hear from your voice, I think you're the one who will say it's impossible. Everyone, is it possible or impossible?
Possible.
This side, this side. You may be small in number, but you may be strong in the heart still. Yes. Is it possible or impossible?
Possible.
To you, it's impossible. This side. You may be strong in number, but you may be weak in the heart. But let me test. Possible or impossible?
Possible.
Possible. This side. Is it possible or impossible?
Possible.
Possible. This side wins. He said, it is possible, Mr. President. What? It is possible? The cabinet secretaries, three of them, they went and came back and said that it's impossible because of the three reasons. Now, how are you going to solve these three problems? Number one, water. How are you going to solve that problem? He said, Mr. President, Saudi Arabia, geographically, it is located next to the sea. We can set up a huge water filtering system as big as a house. We draw all the sea water and then we filter them and then we use that pure water to build the buildings. Oh, yes, that is a good idea. Okay, then that water problem is solved. Now, how are you going to do the construction? Because in the desert, the weather is very hot. Mr. President, when I went in the desert, during the day, it's very hot and you cannot do the construction. However, in the evening, it's very cold. That's why during the day, we will turn on the AC in the room and then we will sleep. And then in the evening, we will wake up, turn on all the lights, floodlights, and we will do the construction, turning on the light. Oh, that is a very good idea. Okay. Number one and number two is solved. How are you going to solve number three problem? Mr. President, it is very good because they don't have any liquor and women in that country. Because if they did, they would waste their money on liquor and women. But now they have nowhere to waste their money. They are going to save it and send it back to South Korea. Therefore, our country are able to make more money. And then the president, he completely was astonished. Ah, that is very good idea. And then they started the construction, and in the desert where there was no building at all, now there are tall building in Saudi Arabia. That's how capital city of Saudi Arabia was built. Do you understand, right? Yes. Building the city in the desert was completely impossible to the cabinet secretaries. But to him it was possible. Why was that possible? Because of a change of a mindset, the difference of a mindset. Everyone, if you also have a difference of a mindset, everyone, you are the leaders who can lead this country. I thought all of you would say amen, but since you didn't say so, I think it's impossible. Everyone, amen or no man? Amen. Yes. Everyone, if you have only the small difference of the mindset, not only Kenya, we will have leaders from Karatina University to change the world.
Amen.
I thought you are going to clap and then leave your chairs and then. You understand what I mean, right? Yes, education is also very important. That's why you're in this great university. I looked around a little bit. You are in such a beautiful atmosphere, right? Yes. It seems like now your heart is also going to change into green. But anyways, I can see that when you also have the change of the mindset, the difference of the mindset in your life will also change as well. Everyone. Amen.
Amen.
You can see the picture. From 1950 to 1953, South Korea was the poorest country in the world. And that time, Mr. Jung Young was born. That time, South Korea was the poorest country in the whole world. But then, because of that, not only that, South Korea, we had all kinds of impossible situations. South Korea, we didn't have any left is the sea to the east is the sea to the south is the sea to the north, our enemy north, North Korea, right? Actually, everything was impossible. We couldn't even do the trading because everything was blocked. You understand, right? Yes, everything was. Not only that, South Korea is a small country. South Korea can fit in Kenya 6 times. South Korea is very small, right? In that small country, 70% of the land is covered by mountains. Then, if it is covered by mountains, can we go vegetation? No. So many people used to starve to death. Not only that, during the summertime, the temperature goes up to 40 degrees Celsius. Even Mombasa temperature doesn't go up to 40. Still, maybe 36, 37, 38, but not 40. But not only that, during the winter time, for 3 months to 4 months, the temperature goes down as much as minus 40 degrees Celsius. Minus 30 degrees Celsius. You understand, right? So everything in South Korea was impossible. You understand, right? Actually, there was no room for improvement, and there was no room for any development in South Korea. Especially also because of Korea's war with North Korea and South Korea, everything was destroyed. And then there was no hope. Not only that, Korea also had no underground natural resources. Actually, when I see the land of Kenya, Kenya is truly a blessed country. Still, Kenya, you're sharing the border with Uganda, Tanzania, Ethiopia, South Sudan, Somalia, nearby Rwanda, nearby Burundi. You can do the easy trading. Still, not only that, you have Mombasa port, you have JKIA, which is a hub of Africa continent still. So everything was actually, when I see Kenya, Kenya has a lot of potential. Kenya, if with the great leadership, Kenya can even go even beyond South Korea, even in the shortest period of time. But now, this is South Korea, as you see from the picture. South Korea, when you look here, everything was destroyed, right? South Korea, when you look, even because of the Korean War, everybody had to run away with this, what they're carrying, all they had in their house. All they had in their house was now what they're carrying on top of their head. And now this is a broken bridge. Everybody had to cross and run away from the other side, because if you don't cross through this broken bridge, and then you are going to be killed by North Koreans. Not only that, when you look at the houses, right? The houses are all falling apart, right? People used to live in that house in South Korea. But now, South Korea, in the shortest period of time, it is famous for the best development. Now South Korea, from the poorest country in the whole world, now South Korea became one of the top 10 economic country in the whole world. Now South Korea has changed from this picture to this picture. By the way, do you want to see how Korea has changed? Your eyes are open, but I don't know whether you are listening or falling asleep, or your mind is already in the cafeteria having dinner. Do you want to see South Korea? South Korea has changed like this.
Whoa.
You see this twin tower here, right? This is a Supreme Court. This is National Police Service. And this is like a National Theater. National Theater, about 3,000 people can fit with the high technology. Actually, if this is the National Theater, my house used to be just around here. So now, from the rooftop here, you look for Yuhan Kim Hun, then I come and I pick you up. So I used to live here. So this is just one part of a Seoul city. And now, also Korea is like this. Right now it's evening, but they have a street light. It's like a daylight in the streets. You understand, right? South Korea has changed like this. Not only that, in South Korea has one of the world's third tallest building. It is 555 meters tall. So it's half kilometer upward. You understand, right? Yes, and then it is 123 stories tall. Not only that, Samsung company, #1 largest electronic company in the whole world. Samsung company profit is 2 times larger than 9 Japanese electronic companies' profit put together. Not only that, I told you about Hyundai company, right? Every 42 seconds, one old brand new car comes out. Not only that, South Korea has the #1 largest shipbuilding yard. You know those huge ships that carries containers and LPG, gas, petroleum, right? Yes, almost all those huge ships are constructed in South Korea. Not only that, like I told you, South Korea, we didn't have any underground natural resources, right? We don't have any iron, but we have #5 largest iron producing company in the whole world in Korea. Not only that, when you look at GDP per capita, in 1960s, in average, one person used to make 9,000 Kenya shilling per year. Everyone, is it possible to live by 9,000 Kenya shilling per year? It's impossible, right? That was 1960s. But now, in the shortest period of time, in the year 2014, GDP per capita has risen to 2.7 million Kenya shilling per person. So in 1 year, you are making 2.7 million Kenya shilling. Then monthly, how much? about 200,000 Kenya shilling, right? Yeah. Yes. There is a 300 times increase. In the year 2018, this has risen to 3 million Kenya shilling GDP per capita in average. So there are many people who makes more, and also some people make less. Not only that, in terms of import and export, in Korea we have nothing to export, still. But now we are ranking number 6 in the whole world for export. We are even in terms of export ahead of Hong Kong, France, UK, even Canada, Russia, India, UAE. Now, how was South Korea able to be changed and be developed in this way? South Korea was able to be developed in this way because we had a great leaders. The leaders, this is the first president of South Korea, and he's the 5th president of South Korea. They were really concerned of the people of Korea. And then they thought, right now in Korea, we have no underground natural resources for us to export and make money out of. But then, what we have is only the human resources. We may not have underground natural resources, but what we have is the human resources. Now, let's develop these human resources, he thought, and then they made like new village movement. Everyone repeat after me. New village movement.
New village movement.
Inside the new village movement, our first pillar was the mindset change program. Through these, now they began to develop the human resources. They began to do the work of changing the mindsets of the people. Because during the time, South Korea was the poorest country in the whole world, and then everybody they had thought that since we are born poor, our fate is to live a poor life. You understand what I mean, right? They thought that they have to live a poor life. They thought that it is their fate to be poor people. However, now there was only their thought. Now through this mindset change program, their thought began to change. Actually, in a mindset has a power to change the minds and the hearts of the people. Moving the hearts and the mindsets of the people. Today, as an introduction, I am giving you the introduction mind lecture about mindset. What is a mindset change? How mindset change is going to benefit your life. If you continue to take this course of mindset training, then mindset training will move your mindset, not even a lot, just get up or do. So, the mindset is going to change your mindset how? Get up or do. While you change your mindset, get up or do, now your life is going to change greatly. In the mind education, we have a principle called Koi's law. Everyone repeat after me, Koi's law.
Koi's law.
Yes, what is Koi's law? Koi is the name of this Japanese fish in this fish bowl. Now, when you keep this in a fish bowl, this fish grows up to maybe 3 to 6 centimeters. However, when you move this fish into a pond, it grows up to 30 centimeters. However, when you move this fish into a pond, into a river, this fish grows up to 90 centimeters, 1 meter. Where you keep this fish, according to where do you keep this fish, how big this fish is going to grow is going to be changed. Everyone, you understand, right? That's why, in the same way, what is Koi's law, the principle of Koi's law? Where do you keep your mindset is very important. However, through mindset training, when you change your mindset, just get up, do, not do, right? Do. When you change your mindset, get up, do. Yes. I'm telling you, your life is going to be so big like this. You understand, right? Yes. Why are you difficult? Not because of anything, because you did not move your mindset. Why are you suffering? Not because of anything, because you did not move your mindset. Let me explain to you how mindset has changed I showed you how mindset has changed a country, right? Now let me show you how mindset change will change one person's life. Everyone, do you know him? Yes. His name is Nick Vujicic. Now he became an international mindset trainer and motivational speaker. Nick Vujicic, when he was born without 2 arms and without 2 legs. So when he was a child, he didn't know that he was different from other people. He thought that everybody is just born without 2 arms and without 2 legs, and everybody just looked the same. However, as he was growing up, when he became a teenager, he realized that he is very different from other people. You understand, right? So he thought that he was very different from other people. When he became a teenager, the only thing that had crossed in his mind was about committing suicide. He said, I want to die. I want to die. I want to die. Why am I so different from other people? I want to die. The only thing that had crossed his mind was about committing suicide. However, one time, he began to listen to the mindset education and the training. He realized one thing. The reason why I am miserable and difficult is because I have set my mindset only on the reason for me to complain about. Do you understand what I mean, right? I set my mindset, I only look upon the reason for me to complain on the reason for me to complain. That's why he was only complaining. You understand, right? But although he may not have 2 arms and 2 legs, do you think that he only has the reason to complain? No. If you look around and turn a little bit, then he can also find many reasons for him to be thankful about as well. Everyone still? Yes. He realized that he's a very happy person because despite the fact of his condition, he realized that there are his mother, who are still loving him and taking care of him. Everyone, is that enough a reason for him to be happy about? Yes. Everyone, when he turned his mindset, just he find a reason for him to be happy about. Do you understand what I mean, right? So from then on, he began to train his mind to not to look at the reason for him to complain and change his mindset and only look upon the reason for him to be happy about. Everyone, if he's only facing the reason for him to be happy, is he actually looking at any reason for him to complain? No. He realized that he's a very happy person. From then on, he began to go to many schools and tell people like this. I am the happiest person in the whole world. Why? He has a reason for him to complain, but he decided not to look at that, and then he decided only to look at the reason for him to be thankful and happy about. Everyone, raise your hand if you can say that I am the happiest person in the whole world. Or did you change your mindset right now? Were you like these people? I think karate and university students are different. Seeing only the greens, I think your minds also became green as well. Everyone, Nick Vujicic, she was only thinking about committing suicide. But through the mindset change program, he was able to change his mindset just kidogo. Everyone changing his mindset kidogo too. Now he's telling the people saying, I am the happiest person in the whole world. Everyone, is it because he began to have an arm and he began to have a leg that he's the happiest person in the world? No! What has changed is not his outwardly circumstances and the situation. What has changed is the attitude of his heart. But now that has to change around everything. Now he became the international famous mind education specialist. Even today, I cannot tell you everything. However, in the future, we want to also conclude MOU together with Carolina University so that we continuously lead you and train you on the mindset education so that we lead you and you change your mindset. And then you are already the happiest person in the whole world. Everyone, is that true? Yes, I hope you don't fix your mindset on the negative thing as you change your mindset on the positive things. As you set your mindset on the happy thing, the reason for you to be thankful and to be happy, then your life is going to change around. Sasa? Yes. Yes, academic education is very important. But I hope you can also receive this mindset training and be the happiest person in the whole world. Thank you so much for listening. Next time I come, I'll tell you also about 5 levels of the mindset. Sasa? So next time when I come, I'll also continue with the mind lecture. Thank you very much.